Yo, what is up guys? It is your boy, the one and only Sage Samurai here, back with another part 2. What if Naruto had left the village instead of Sasuke? So I know some of y'all been waiting for this part for about a month, which yeah, I gotta admit April was not the best year for me, but I mean not year, month for me. But hey, here I am now, and guys, I'm finally done with my studies. Yes, I done my final exam today, and I'm so happy. That means I can start posting again, I can start relaxing again, and bro, I can just be me again, bro. So expect me to start posting a lot of videos now. I'll try my best. I mean, shoot, with this program, it would take me a while to upload them, but shoot, I'm down for whatever. But either way, I hope y'all do enjoy this video. Hope y'all do enjoy my channel in general. And I hope y'all ready for my return, because I have a lot of banging what if ideas. But hey, let me just go ahead and say this off the bat. If you guys have any what if ideas, please comment down below. I'm making a list of what if ideas I should do in the future. So if you guys write it down, I'll go ahead, take your advice, and potentially in the future I'll write it down. I mean, well, not write it down, I'll do it in the future. So yeah, besides all that, hope y'all do enjoy this video. And either way, let's get started.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
Alright guys, let's go ahead and finally get started with this what if. So guys, we start off this what if with Naruto, who is now currently just looking down at a certain place, a certain village, as he was going ahead and watching two members of the Akatsuki taking away a certain someone who has red hair. So it begins, Naruto would say. Flashback. Multiple years before, well, that certain day when Naruto left. As right now we go ahead and see Sakura, who had just woken up, as she was now panting. What the heck am I doing here? At this, she'll go ahead and look around, trying to find out why the heck she was here, only to remember like what happened last time. Naruto. At this, she'll go ahead and do just like she does in canon, rushing off to Tsunade to inform her. So we now go ahead and cut back to Tsunade, who is now currently just doing some paperwork, the dread of all Hokage. Especially now thanks to the Sound Ninja, she had even more of this shit to do. Fuck, she would go ahead and say. And she really hated paperwork. As she's right now cursing Hiruzen for even leaving her with this job. Damn you, freaking Hiruzen. How dare you leave me with this freaking job? This should have been you. At this is when suddenly the pink-haired Genin would go ahead and break through her office, informing her about Naruto. Hearing about the young Uzumaki, this will put Tsunade on high alert, as she goes ahead and instantly orders for all Jonin, Anbu, and everyone to go look for him. As she goes ahead and gets angry. Damn it! As she couldn't believe it. Naruto leaving the village? That's something, he must have been against his will. There's no way Naruto would leave the village. He wants to become Hokage. That's what Tsunade believed, that she was right now actually beginning to hyperventilate. Although she did not know Naruto as long as many other people, Naruto had somehow made a way into this old woman's heart. And I mean, not like that, I mean like a son, like a grandson. Actually no, just like a son. As Naruto truly felt like a son to her, and seeing him leave was something that she's now like she does not want. At this is when suddenly in an instant like swift motion we would see two people appear, one being Kakashi Hatake, the leader of Team 7, and Jiraiya, the Toad Sage, as they were both looking at Tsunade. Tsunade, what's going on? I heard Naruto left the village, he would say. At this, Tsunade goes ahead and looks at him. You idiot. So wait a minute, are you an idiot or something? You literally heard that Naruto left the village and you're asking me what happened? You should already know. At this, she would have snapped at, of course, Jiraiya, which Jiraiya actually gets taken aback. I mean, it was not the usual way that Tsunade, snapped at him. It was most of the times when Tsunade used to snap at him, it was for him being a pervert. Now, she was like dead on angry. At this, Tsunade seeing that Jiraiya was, recoiled back, she'll go ahead and calm down, apologizing to Jiraiya for going ahead and lashing out like that. It's just the fact that she's worried for Naruto. At this, Jiraiya would understand. However, he's even more disappointed in himself. He was supposed to keep Naruto safe, and now Naruto is out of the village. At this, he'll go ahead and ask, Tsunade, tell me, who kidnapped Naruto? Did you know? At this, Tsunade was silent for a second, as she goes ahead and looks at the window, as she goes ahead and bites down her lip. Well, actually, due to Sakura Haruno's report, Apparently Naruto Uzumaki had left the village willingly. At this, there was nothing more than a pin of silence. Until suddenly it was broken out by Jiraiya as he then yells, "What?" As he was now in shock. His student, Naruto Uzumaki, had left the village willingly? No way. That was impossible. That was almost as if hell froze over. Naruto could never do that. At this, he goes ahead and glares, "Tsunade, this is a joke. I swear this is not time for it." Tsunade was not even perving about her. He was not being a pervert this time. He was being dead serious. This was big news. Naruto went ahead and pretty much left willingly? No way. At this, while Jiraiya was having a frantic, pretty much panic attack, Kakashi was there frozen stiff. Yes, he couldn't believe it. Naruto Uzumaki, the student that he goes ahead and actually went ahead and let go. The student that he had just berated, not even a couple of days ago, literally a few days ago. Well, not even a day. Literally a couple of hours ago, left the village. As Kakashi would then feel a new form of dread go ahead and fall upon him. "Is this my fault?" he would ask, as he was right now just shaking a little bit. At this, Tsunade goes ahead and glares at Jiraiya. "I don't know, Jiraiya, I don't know. What I do know is we need to find Naruto. Got it?" At this, Jiraiya didn't even have to say anything more as he burst through the window as he goes ahead and is actually about to check out his spy network to go ahead and track down the young Uzumaki, using everything in his power and in his control to find where the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki was. At this, Tsunade will go ahead and look at Jiraiya. She actually felt bad for him, as now it just seems like Jiraiya was actually, now that Tsunade went ahead and returned back to the village, she realized that even though she had lost something, Jiraiya was also someone who lost. He didn't have a family, he didn't have a parent, he didn't have anyone. Even his precious student who was like a son to him, Minato, had died. So seeing that his godson literally left the village, it's something that's pretty much tearing Jiraiya apart. And she can't help but feel sorry for the old man. At this, Tsunade would go ahead and be eerily quiet as she then turned to Kakashi. Kakashi was still there, frozen with a blank expression, not able to comprehend that Naruto Uzumaki, the man who always wanted to become Hokage, had left the village. "So what are you gonna do about it, Kakashi?" At this, Kakashi goes ahead and just nods, as he could already tell what Tsunade is informing him to do. At this, he'll go ahead and vanish, as this is where I'm actually gonna do a time skip. So right now, of course, Kakashi, Jiraiya, as well as a couple other of Jonins and Anbus in the area would have gone ahead and had formed a sort of a squad to go ahead and track down Naruto as they try to pick up on any trail. Sadly, however, his trail was bleak, as it seemed like, okay, now the reason for this, bro, 2 Akatsuki members plus Naruto with Kurama, that should be fast enough for them to go ahead and cross the border, okay? So of course, they're not going to be there. At this, after searching for a while now, they couldn't find Naruto, causing Jiraiya to go ahead and actually begin to be pissed off, as he swears that he would find Naruto no matter what. At this, he'll go ahead and he made sure of this. He even separated half of his spy network, which he used to keep track of the Akatsuki and Orochimaru's base, to go ahead and find the Uzumaki, as Jiraiya was dead set on finding his grandson. At this, we now go ahead and turn back to a sobbing Sakura, as she was now currently sitting on the very bench that Naruto had left her on, as he had left the village. Now while this is happening, Sasuke had just gotten out of the, well, I guess you can say the interrogation department, as he had stayed there for the rest of the night, as he had actual little bags under his eyes. Dang it, what the fuck is wrong with them, keeping me there all day? At this, Sasuke was just, walking around until he sees Sakura, which he goes ahead and inwardly cringe. Oh great, she's gonna ask me out again. At this, he goes ahead and plans to avoid her. However, this is when suddenly he will then be tackled on the ground by said Haruno, causing him to just go ahead and begin to struggle. Hey, get the hell off of me! But this is when he actually sees that something is wrong. More wrong than usual, if you include an emo hugging someone as energetic as Sakura. At this, Sakura was right now hyperventilating, panicking, as you could see, almost as if their entire world just came crashing down upon him. As he's right now staring at her, he'll go ahead and shake her. "Sakura, Sakura!" At this, Sakura will go ahead and look at Sasuke's eyes, and for the first time ever, the Uchiha sees, he actually sees literal pain in Sakura's eyes. Now, Sasuke was a person who understood most things, alright? And he definitely understood when someone was in pain. I mean, shit, he had those eyes of pain when Itachi murdered his clan. But these eyes, although not the same level, held a large amount of grief. Why the heck does she have these eyes? As Sasuke is not gonna lie, Sakura having these eyes was pissing him off. Why the fuck does she get these eyes? She has a family. She makes fun of an orphan for being an orphan in front of another orphan. Why the heck is she acting like this? As Sasuke goes ahead and glares at her, he goes ahead and shoves her off. He didn't ask, what's with the tears already, Haruno? As he was actually being a little bit colder. Hearing her name, Sakura would just flinch. As she would then speak, he's gone. At this, once again, the dead of silence goes ahead and enters. What? At this, Sakura goes ahead and glares at Sasuke, and for the first time ever, she goes ahead and shouts at Sasuke, Naruto is gone! At this, Sasuke was in shock. Naruto Uzumaki, the kid and the little brat who goes on and on about being Hokage, the dope, had left the village? At this, Sasuke was in shock at this, as he had to admit one thing. Naruto, even though he didn't want to admit it, was his rival. And if there's one thing that Sasuke at least gave the dope credit for, he was persistent as hell. He had this drive that seemed to never fare against anything. It seems like no matter what, he would push himself until he became Hokage. As Sasuke, even though he didn't want to admit it, he was slowly believing that Naruto could become Hokage. As he stares at Sakura, he goes ahead and snaps. Haruno, are you lying to me? She would say, as he was now getting angry. At this, he knew one thing, and one of the most impossible things ever. Like, this was one of the list, like, this was on Sasuke's list of things that could never happen. Number one, Itachi returning back to the village, saying that all that he did was a fake genjutsu and that everything that he had been through was nothing more than a genjutsu, alright? That was already 100% crossed. But the second one on that list would have to be Naruto leaving the village. At this, Sakura would just say nothing more. She goes ahead and sobs. Now, if you guys are wondering, why the hell is Sakura acting like this? It's because by this point, Sakura really enjoyed Team 7. And even though she may not like Naruto as much as she likes Sasuke, she's just right now just like shit. Like, damn. She's right now going through the emotional process and trying to comprehend it. Because you see, Sasuke leaving the village, now that was more believable than Naruto leaving the village. I'm sorry. But his little, Sasuke is, okay, I'm getting sidetracked here. I'll go ahead and explain it later on at the end of the video. So either way, we go ahead and cut back to Sasuke as he goes ahead and dashes towards the Hokage's office, as he wants to believe. He doesn't believe Sakura. He can't. As when he arrives there, he would be informed of the news that Naruto had left by Tsunade, who was still pretty much grieving, almost as if someone else had just died. At this, Sasuke was shell-shocked, as he would then go ahead and try to actually help out with finding Naruto, asking Tsunade if he can join the team, to which Tsunade declined, saying that a mere genin like him wouldn't have any use looking for Naruto. And of course, this set off Sasuke's Uchiha pride, as he actually flared his Sharingan, daring the woman to even say that to his face. But Tsunade was a Sannin and a Hokage for a reason, as she put Sasuke in his place by sending him a death glare that would freeze over half of the Shinobi nations. As she goes ahead and tells him to get out of her office. This was actually something else. Tsunade did not like said Uchiha. Now, she had read about the report about Sasuke and Naruto, and she just wasn't the person that enjoyed the arrogant, brooding, and emo kind, that being Sasuke. As she was more like for example, she didn't want the person like rude. I don't know how to say it really. I know, she didn't like people a lot emo like Sasuke. As Sasuke goes ahead and leaves, he couldn't believe it, as the one thing that's playing in his mind is, why did Naruto leave? Speaking of Naruto, we now cut back to Naruto and had just arrived at the Akatsuki hideout, as he was currently right now walking there, his orange jacket not there, with him wearing just the blue shinobi sandals, the orange pants, and a plain black shirt. Naruto's expression would be nothing more but a calm yet serious one, as his eyes were actually red with Kuruma's chakra, as Naruto had actually, cooperated with Kuruma in allowing him to go ahead and actually use his chakra for now, just in case they need to flee. As Naruto was walking, This is when suddenly he would then be stopped by Itachi and Kisame as they tell him to wait there for their so-called leader. At this, Naruto would nod as suddenly coming out with multiple figures would then come out, each one of them having robes similar to Itachi and Kisame, and so they finally revealed one who had piercings and purple eyes. Oof, Naruto would think in his mind. And I thought Sasuke was emo. This man is on a whole nother level. Are those nails painted? At this, Naruto would look at this man, and this man screamed nothing more than emo. He had the piercings, he had the drip, the dark goth drip. All the things he's missing, he's dyeing his hair freaking black and having his like nails black as well. At this is when suddenly the leader of the Akatsuki would speak. Naruto Uzumaki, I presume, he would say. At this, Naruto would go ahead and nod as he was eyeing down the man seriously. Even though this man looked like an emo, he could already tell that this man was levels and levels ahead of him, and that if him and Kurama even try to fight this man, they'll be done. At this, of course, Pain would go ahead and actually observe the young Uzumaki, as he could already tell that he had potential, as he can't wait to use their proper weapon. At this, Naruto will go ahead and look at Pain as he then says, yes, and I heard that you guys want me to join the Akatsuki. At this, Pain would nod as he goes ahead and actually walks over to Naruto as he goes ahead and looks him in the eyes. I see potential in you. Besides, if you go ahead and agree to the terms that we have given you, then you attain all that you wish. At this, right now, currently, Naruto didn't know about the future goal that he would have, but right now, Naruto's goal was to gain just attention. That's all he wanted, was attention, to be acknowledged. And right now, he was finally gonna get it. At this, Naruto will go ahead and smirk, while Kurama, who's currently right now just inside the cage observing him, he would go ahead and actually just already not like Pain, as he was already having the eyes of his father, the Renegon, as he was only saying one thing: this man, he's bad news. As he goes ahead and growls lowly in his mind, Naruto will go ahead and shake Pain's hand, adding to the terms that he had went ahead and agreed to join the Akatsuki. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and now do a time skip. So, actually no, we're gonna go ahead and return back. So, right now, after through the years, Naruto went ahead and was trained by the Akatsuki personally. He was taught swordsmanship from Kisame and actually Itachi, who used to go ahead and wield a sword back when he was in the Anbu in the Hidden Leaf Village. Itachi had also taught Naruto his arsenal of jutsus. Although he wasn't as good as Naruto when it came to wind style, he did teach Naruto how to use fire style, to which Naruto gracefully learned, although he learned it a little bit harder compared to his wind style moves, considering the fact that Naruto had to go ahead and actually steal scrolls, or buy them off of Kakuzu, which, yeah, Kakuzu actually charged Naruto for those scrolls whenever it came to being able to go ahead and actually, getting jutsus. However, the more time Naruto spent with the Akatsuki, the more time he has helped them, he began to realize what their true goal was. At this, Naruto actually went ahead and actually, the more time he spent with the Akatsuki, he began to form his own goal. So we now go ahead and cut to the time where Naruto went ahead and announced this goal of his. So right now, it was after the Akatsuki went ahead and actually captured their first tailed beast, which, by the way, yes, in this timeline, the Akatsuki went after Naruto first, alright? Except they were going to make Naruto their weapon. Then after they were done using him, they were going to go ahead and offer him to the Ghetto statue. At this, right now, Naruto was having an inner monologue with Kurama, who he and him had some sort of weird version of a partnership. At this, Kurama was right now sitting idly by as Naruto was right now running through it. So, they plan to sacrifice me as soon as they get the chance, huh? I'm nothing more than a tool to them. At this, Kurama will go ahead and nod as he was not eyeing Naruto. What did he plan to do? Now at this, although Naruto would not admit it, spending time with Kurama, Naruto realized that the tail beasts weren't bad. In fact, it seemed like most of the time they were just misjudged. In fact, instantly, he could actually already understand it. He could already see how biased this world was. Anything new to them, anything powerful to them, they'll mistake it for anything that they see that's new. They mistake their new feeling for fear and instantly turn on it. It's like people cannot comprehend things that they don't understand. And that's what Naruto plans to do. He plans to go ahead and fix all of that. At this, Naruto was already planning something even better. Naruto's first goal was to go ahead and bring acceptance. That's all he wanted, was to be accepted. But now Naruto had a bigger goal in mind, something even larger than before. He planned to bring peace. That's now all he wanted. He wanted peace from the people who went ahead and discriminated people like him, people who had tail beast inside of them. He wanted to live a life where people were going ahead and treated as equals all over. There wasn't any pointless system where people go ahead and be looked down upon by others. There wasn't a point to where Jinchurikis are treated bad, or it doesn't matter how different they look. All he wanted to do was bring peace. However, unlike the Naruto in canon, how he brought peace, this Naruto would do it differently. At this, Naruto would go ahead and speak. Oi Kurama, he would say. At this, said Nine-Tailed Fox was now looking at Naruto. Yeah, brat, did you finally get your thoughts in check? At this, the blonde would nod. Yeah, Kurama, I finally know what I'm gonna do. At this, Naruto would go ahead and realize that in this corrupt society, he would go ahead and begin to speak to Kurama. Kurama, I realize that acceptance isn't the thing that should I be doing right now. Kurama will go ahead and now eye Naruto warily. Oh yeah, bruh? Well, you got what you wanted, right? Which Naruto was not gonna lie, he did get what he wanted. And that was, he did gain acceptance. Just a different kind. Cause you see, Naruto, even though he didn't gain it to the extent as the other members, he had gained acknowledgement as a member of the Akatsuki by multiple others. As Naruto had actually gained his first, his first name that people had dubbed him as. They called him the Trickster. Because Naruto, he had actually used his sort of pranking nature to go ahead and actually trick people into pretty much, well, he uses tricks to end their lives. Now this, even though this was at an early stage of Naruto's training, as this is still like in Naruto's training arc pretty much, still that's actually a pretty good name. As Naruto had actually learned how to sort of how to do it by actually training and fighting with people like Kakazu and Hidan. As he went ahead and actually go ahead and pretty much like fought them, used tricks against them, even though they would still beat Naruto up in a fight, they were still like, they actually took damage and were actually like pretty caught off guard by Naruto's fighting style. As Naruto had gone ahead and actually gained the acceptance, right now Naruto is now working towards a new goal. As he continues talking to Kurama, I've decided I'm gonna bring peace to this world, Kurama. At this, Kurama will go ahead and look at Naruto for a second until he goes ahead and chuckles. And that's a random ass thought. Now tell me, why did you go ahead and think of that? At this, Naruto was silent for a second until he finally speaks. Because at this, Naruto's eyes become red with sinister and seriousness, as he realized that the Akatsuki were no better than those people. They didn't see him as an equal. No, they saw him as a weapon. This society, it doesn't give all the sort of peace and loving nature that Naruto actually desired. Children are forced into battle already at a young age, and people get mistreated depending on who they are or what their status is. And Naruto didn't want any bias like that in his world. No. At this, Naruto then gets up. I decide to go ahead. I know what I plan to do, Kurama. At this, Kurama go ahead and look at Naruto now, as he was now like listening up and actually expectation now, as he wondered what the brat was gonna say. I'm gonna crumble this world. I'm gonna break it down until finally there's nothing left. After that, I'm gonna rebuild it from the ground up. I'll make this world see. I'll bring it peace, true peace, and those that will try to stop me. At this, Naruto will go ahead and look directly into the skies until he goes ahead and does multiple forms of hand signs until he finally shouts, "Fire style, great fireball jutsu!" At this, he goes ahead and shoots a ginormous fireball up into the air, as this was Naruto's chakra alone, not any help from Kurama. As Naruto goes ahead and shouts, "I'll burn them to ash." As Naruto was now dead set on bringing this world to peace. As Kurama will go ahead and be silent for them, he then says, "Please," as if a world of peace shall even exist. At this, Naruto will go ahead and actually listen to the fox until he finally smirks. "Oh, don't worry, oh buddy, oh pal. I plan to do the same to you. At this, Kurama goes ahead and looks at him. Huh? A brat like you think you can take me on? At this, Naruto would look at Kurama as if he was stupid. No, you idiot. I'm saying I'm gonna go ahead and bring peace to you and all the tail beasts. Was that not obvious to you? At this, Kurama was actually in shock. This boy wanted to bring peace to everything, including the tail beast? At this, for some odd reason, even though Naruto was a lot different than he was in canon, Kurama would still see the resemblance between him and Hagoromo. Although the difference is that Naruto's methods were a little bit more, well, actually not even a little bit more, they were a lot different than Hagoromo's. As Hagoromo's, his was more about like, being peace and friendly, but Naruto, he was planning to literally break down. He was gonna beat the shit out of them until they accept peace. If they don't, well, see them at their funeral. As Naruto will go ahead and look at Kurama, Kurama will go ahead and freaking just snort as he then turns his way. Fine, brat, do whatever the hell you want. As Naruto hears this, he'll go ahead and smirk. However, unbeknownst to him, Kurama was also smirking, as he didn't actually, even though he wasn't gonna believe it for the first time ever, he was gonna try to believe in someone. He was gonna try to have faith. Who knows, maybe this brat can actually do it, even though it's highly unlikely, especially by himself. So with that, we're now going to go ahead and continue on, as Naruto will go ahead and actually begin to train. He will train even harder than he used to. At this, Naruto's name will begin to go throughout the entire Elemental Nations. People did not know who he was or what he'd be, but Naruto was here training his hardest. He had gone ahead and picked up nearly every style of Itachi. He even went ahead and was taught Kenjutsu by Kisame, as Naruto had also went ahead and gotten Zabuza's Executioner Blade back from the Land of Waves. As Naruto actually went ahead and picked it up as a token, as a way to show respect to Zabuza. After all, now the Demon of the Headed Mist had just risen up again, however in a new form now. The form of a sinister fox that goes ahead and crushes anything that stands in the way of bringing peace to this world. As Naruto goes ahead and begins to go through it, Naruto will go ahead and we will now see Naruto now just there, sitting there, as he was now like looking at the Akatsuki members, as both Deidara and Sasori will go ahead and land. Well, looks like we got him, huh? At this, Deidara would go ahead and look at Sasori, who would just nod, as Naruto wouldn't speak up. Sasori, I'm not even gonna lie to you, but your puppet looks mad ugly. You could have at least given him a good hairstyle. At this, Deidara will go ahead and begin to burst out laughing as he says, "You see, I told him, right? I told him." As Naruto looks at Deidara as if he was an idiot, but then shrugs it off. At this, Deidara goes ahead and, Sasori will go ahead and glare at Naruto as he then says, "I don't care what you say, and also, this puppet doesn't look ugly. And besides, even if it does, it was still strong enough to kick your ass." At this, Naruto would just snort at that. As unbeknownst to them, Naruto, even without training with them, had also gotten even stronger, as he had went ahead and trained with Kurama, who him and Naruto now currently have actually gone ahead and became actual friends now. As Naruto will go ahead and look over them, he will then see on the target that they had just acquired. As Naruto can't help but feel a little bit ashamed, but he knew that in the end, if things work out, this will all be for the better. As Naruto would go ahead and whisper out the words, "I'm sorry, Gaara." As right now, we would go ahead and see the body of the Kazekage of the Hidden Sand Village, who's currently there lifeless, as he had just been knocked out by a huge explosion from Deidara. Naruto, of course, had not volunteered, as he was actually the lookout for the group. As he was currently right now looking at Gaara's lifeless body, he can only help but have one thought: trust me, in the future, this will all be for the better. At this is when Sasori and Deidara will go ahead and tell Naruto to come along, as it was finally time for them to leave the village, as they had successfully taken away the One-Tailed Jinchuriki. At this, Naruto would nod as he then turns away from the Hidden Sand Village, jumping down, of course, and rushing off away with Gaara in tow. Now, we go ahead and change perspectives to the Hidden Leaf Village, as we now see a group of 3 people, as they are now currently on their way to a mission, this being the original Team 7. We will see Kakashi, who currently right now had his, he currently had the same casual look, as Kakashi had not changed, not even a bit. Which, by the way, had anyone figured out how Kakashi went ahead and not aged like for 1 bit throughout the entire series? I just want to know. Like, seriously, does this man have the Ash Ketchum serum, except this time this man has actually lived his life? Like, come on now. As this man had went ahead and not aged 1 bit. 1 bit. But hey, let me continue on. As right beside the copy ninja known as Kakashi Hatake of the Sharingan, you would see a certain emo you would see a certain duck butt hairstyle, that being Sasuke Uchiha. As he was currently right now focused dead on the mission that was given to them by Tsunade Senju, who is still currently the 5th Hokage. Now we go ahead and do a little bit of a flashback. So Tsunade was just there chilling in her office, as she was just there organizing the paperwork. However, as you could clearly see her though, even though she had a calm expression, you could see that she was anything but. You see, after that Naruto had left the village, the Hidden Leaf village hasn't been as cheery as it used to be. And the one who had taken a very deep toll from it, actually one of the few who did, was Tsunade. As she was currently right now cold-blooded, as she barely went ahead and smiled at any of the new recruits. She was as fierce as she was kind. Well, kind to the people that she actually knew, which were barely not even a lot. So yeah, that's actually like, oof. As Tsunade went ahead and actually bent mean to everyone, even her shinobi. As people, even though she may seem like a tyrant, she was not really. Like, she's still like, if they ever did something like that, she would just go ahead and give them a crappy attitude, just tell them to go ahead and do the mission, or that she doesn't care, stuff like that. Alright, can you blame the woman? I mean, she had just lost something precious to her, and even though it's been multiple years, it still stings. As Tsunade was right there picking up paper, she was just thinking like, right about now, Naruto should have been coming back. If he had gone with that training trip with Jiraiya, then he should have been here by now, she would say. As Jiraiya had a lot planned for Naruto too. Right before Naruto had left the village, Jiraiya was even planning on taking the young blonde as his apprentice, and of course taking him for training. But sadly, he wasn't able to get any of that. As Tsunade was just there thinking about it, this is when suddenly she'll go ahead and check on one of the papers, and it seemed that the Kazekage had just been captured. At this, Tsunade was surprised at this, as she instantly calls for an Anbu member to go ahead and retrieve her a team. As when he asked what her type of preference was, she will go ahead and say Team 7. So, just like that, Team 7 had went ahead and appeared, as they were informed by Tsunade about the mission, and of course, they would all agree to it, as they were now ready to go ahead and save the Kazekage. Speaking of Team 7, as we go ahead and cut back to the present, you would see that Team 7 has not been the same ever since their blonde hair friend has just left. You can see that Kakashi was a lot less, well, Kakashi had very unragged movements, as you could see that he had bags under his eyes, and he looked even worse for wear. You can now also see Sakura, who actually was still taken on as an apprentice by Tsunade. However, the difference was that now she honestly, well, she was still the same as in canon, except the fact she wasn't cheerful, she wasn't smiling as much. Now, during the time that Naruto was gone, Sakura would have realized that the blonde really did make up most of Team 7. It's like without him, there was like this ginormous void that didn't fill in anywhere. At this, she tried multiple times, like, hanging out with her friends and everything, who actually invited her, trying to cheer her up. But in the end, it didn't really work out as it intended. Sakura spent less time, smiling. She still hanged out with her friends, but most of the time she was just training. As right now, Sakura had actually one goal in mind. That was to go ahead, bring Naruto back, and reform Team 7. As Sakura was now dead set on bringing the blonde back. Now, to Sasuke, he pretty much was the same person. The only difference was, Sasuke, after hearing Naruto had left, was more humbled, as he had just realized that he had just lost actually, not even the one, he had the most important connection to this village had just left. The most important connection between him and this village had just left. And this of course caused Sasuke to go even deeper into his despair, as right now he had now two goals in mind. One, to kill an idiot brother of his, And 2, to bring back a stupid ramen eating frenzy guy who goes ahead and shouts about being a Hokage and wears a hideous orange jumpsuit, as Sasuke was dead set on bringing back Naruto, as well as also beating the shit out of him in the process for abandoning them. Well, not abandoning them, but for leaving them. Yeah. As we now go ahead and see Team 7, Kakashi didn't speak. Are you guys ready? He would say. At this, all he got was a cold nod. As also, that was another thing. The communication between Team 7 really fucked up. Now I know most people will be like, what are you talking about? Sasuke this? I was like, no. Seriously though, like Sasuke had just became even colder, and Team 7 truly drifted apart, as the person they would mostly, have fun with, and the person who usually brought them together, that being Naruto, had just, like, him not being there, it really screwed Team 7 over. They were a good team, but any signs of friendship between them, or like they like hang out with each other, which they barely do, it really shows. At this, they'll go ahead and now dash off, as they are now ready to save the Kazekage, with each one of them being dead set on it. However, the one thing that played in the back of their mind is, how is Naruto doing? As we now go ahead and cut to Naruto, who is currently right there just sitting down, as they were actually going ahead and doing the extraction of Gaara into the Geto statue. Now yeah, I'm also changing the events like in canon. Naruto, like this time they're speeding up the process, as after a while of just them trying to extract the One Tails out, it will finally be successful, as the One Tails was successfully extracted out of Gaara. Sorry guys, I've been talking for a long ass time and my throat hurts. So we now go ahead and see, as Gaara will go ahead and lay there lifeless, both Deidara and Sasori will go ahead and see that their mission is completed, as they go ahead and tell Naruto that sooner or later they're gonna have a meeting with the leaders. At this, Naruto would nod. However, he would then go ahead and feel slightly pissed off when he sees Deidara sit on top of Gaara. At this, Naruto was not gonna lie. Even though he was angry at some of his friends, and pretty much he was angry at the Leaf, that didn't mean he was angry at Gaara now. I mean, shoot, Gaara was the only one who could at least understand him. Well, Gaara and someone else, but that's it. So seeing Gaara sit there, Naruto will go ahead and actually speak up. I recommend you get off out of him before I chop your freaking legs off. At this, they will go ahead and smirk. There's that little feely emotion things that you do, he would say. As even though Naruto was now more closed in on himself, there were rare instances when Naruto actually go ahead and show emotion to the Akatsuki members. As Naruto, like I said, due to Naruto has really changed. Like, this man isn't the same one from canon. As of course, Deidara will go ahead and get up and says, "So, you say you're gonna chop off my legs, huh? Why don't you try it? So that way you can go ahead and ravel in the way of my art that goes ahead and shows itself to you." And by that, Deidara meant that he was gonna literally blow a freaking bomb in front of Naruto's face. At this, Naruto and Deidara will glare at each other until Sasori goes ahead and speaks up. "Enough of your foolishness, alright? Let's just continue on." At this, Deidara just shrugs. He goes ahead and gets off of Gaara, deciding to lay against the wall to take a little bit of a nap, as it will be a while before the call actually starts. At this, with Naruto will go ahead and walk over to Gaara's body, as he goes ahead and picks up the Kazekage. As this is when Sasori doesn't speak up. "Oi, Naruto, what the hell are you doing?" At this, Naruto would stop in his tracks as he then turns to them. Well, I met him once in my past, and even though I have to admit, he was very odd, he's one of the very few individuals who I give my respect to. At this, both Deidara and I continue messing up. Both Deidara and Sasori will go ahead and nod, as they were at first suspicious, but heck, they decided to shrug it off. I mean, they too have some people they have respected. As they would see Naruto go ahead and walk off, they thought that he was just going to go ahead and bury the body, as they decided to wait there for the call to begin. However, unbeknownst to them, we would now see Naruto, who had gone ahead and brought Gaara's body out, as Naruto would go ahead and actually slap a tag onto Gaara's stomach. At this, he would go ahead and do multiple signs of Fuinjutsu until he finally slams his hand together. At this, nothing happened for only a couple of minutes, until suddenly until suddenly we wouldn't see Gaara as his eyes begin to roll back up, as his eyes actually begin to recover, as well as his skin becomes a lot less paler, until he'd finally return back to his original form. I'm alive? He would say. At this, Gaara would go ahead and look around frantically until he sees Naruto. As he goes ahead and actually was about to shoot an attack, this is when Naruto would go ahead and raise his hand. Stop, I don't mean you any harm, old friend. At this, Gaara would stop his attack and says, old friend, I don't know who the hell you are, but how am I alive, or whatever. At this, Gaara was planning to attack Naruto once again until Naruto had just done something simple. He had just grabbed the top of his hoodie as he goes ahead and pulls it down. At this, Gaara will go ahead and stop his attack as he didn't get in the good look of who the person was about to attack. Naruto? At this, standing there in all his glory was now a slightly older Naruto, as he was now looking at Gaara. It's been a long time, Gaara. As both of them were staring there, Gaara was in shock. What is happening? How did Naruto bring back Gaara? What are the Akatsuki's next plans? What has Naruto has in store for the world? And will Team 7, will Sasuke ever get rid of his stupid duck butt haircut? Well, either way, we'll find out in the next part. Hope y'all do enjoy this part of the series. Sorry if like halfway through the video my voice lost energy. I'm sorry, but recording for this long, like I said, I've been rusty for a while since I've been gone, but recording for this long is literally tiring, okay? So I hope y'all do enjoy the video. I hope y'all do enjoy things. And either way, it is Sage Samurai, and I'm out. Peace.